Good day everyone. Since we are now in an asynchronous mode due to a high heat index, I decided to create this recorded lecture for our chapter 6. Like what I have said from the very beginning, ang topic natin during midterms is the e-commerce topics, while ngayong finals naman ay yung mga internet marketing topics. So for the chapter 6, we have here the introduction to internet marketing, building your online presence. Before we proceed, I have here a disclaimer. The discussion in this presentation may include references to various celebrity names and brands for purpose of analysis and discussion. It is essential to note that these references are intended solely for discussion and commentary and should not be affiliations with any of the mentioned celebrities or brands. We do not intend to imply any official association or endorsement by the mentioned celebrities or brands, nor do we claim or represent their views or opinions. All references to celebrities and brands are for informational and illustrative purpose only. Here are our agendas. Number 1 is the questions to answer before going online. Next is why is online presence important. Number 3, key components of online presence. 4, building your online presence. 5, creating a professional website. 6, leveraging social media. 7, improving search engine optimization. And number 8, engaging with online communities. Last is the measuring and monitoring your online presence. So, umpisahan po natin siya doon sa questions to answer before going online. Lahat ba ng businesses kailangan natin ilagay online? Or lahat ba ng businesses na nasa online ay magiging successful? When we say online presence, it is equivalent to more brand awareness. Sabi nga nung father of marketing na si Philip Kotler, people will not buy product that is unknown to them. Sa Tagalog, hindi bibili ang isang customer ng isang produkto kung hindi niya alam ang produktong ito. Yung tinutukoy nating online presence dito, it emphasizes the strong connection between establishing an active and effective online presence in connection in creating more brand awareness. So, kinakailangan yung online presence na tinutukoy natin dito, magkaroon tayo ng digital footprint. This digital footprint encompasses online platforms and channels which brand can interact with their audience or customers, including its website, social media profile, blogs, forums, and more. So the very goal of online presence is first to increase visibility. I don't know if you remember, because we have 4 marketing concepts. I believe na turo ito during second year ninyo sa subject ninyong consumer behavior. We have 4 marketing concept: the product concept, production concept, selling concept, and then the marketing concept. Wherein, sinasabi sa production concept na ang consumer daw ay bumibili ng isang produkto kapag ito ay available sa iba't ibang lugar, especially kapag ito ay available kung saan siya malapit. And then, sinasabi naman sa product concept na bumibili ang isang consumer ng product na yon because of its quality. So, maraming products na with high quality pero hindi alam ng mga tao yung products na yun. With the help or through building your online presence, you'll be able to increase your visibility. For example, produkto mo yun or brand mo yun. Maganda naman talaga yung brand mo or maganda naman talaga yung product na ino-offer mo. Quality talaga siya. However, yung mga tao or yung mga consumer hindi alam. So, with the help of with the aid of building your online presence, possibly, mas marireach mo yung mga target consumer mo talaga. So, through building your online presence, you'll be able to increase your visibility. Being present online allows your brand to be seen by a larger audience, potentially reaching people who may not have been encountered your product through traditional means like paglalagay ng tarpaulin or any traditional advertisement. So, personal experience ko po, meron kaming activity, meron akong activity sa mga second year student ko. They are tasked to make an advertisement. So, meron doon isang estudyante na gumawa siya ng advertisement about this product. I don't know if you know this. Ako kasi hindi ko talaga siya alam before. Hair mask. Hindi po ako nagpo-promote. I'm just, nag-disclaimer naman ako dun sa unang ko. So, itong hair mask, ito yung ginawan niya ng advertisement. So, ako kasi curious. Na-curious ako dun sa ginawa niyang advertisement. So, sinearch ko siya sa TikTok at saka sa Shopee. And then, dahil sa curiosity ko, napa-check out ako. And then, ginamit ko siya. And then, for me, yung quality niya is okay naman. So, up until now, nakalimang order na kami. And then, sabi ng mother ko, okay din naman daw yung quality. So, ayun po, there are products. For me, personal preference ko, okay naman siya. So, merong mga products na okay naman yung quality, kasi hindi lang natin siya alam. So, with the help of online platforms, so, ayun, nadi-discover siya. And then, ngayon, I am recommending it to my friends and my families. And of course, syempre, with the help of advertisement. Hindi naman natin ito madidiscover kung walang advertisement at walang online presence. So, number 2, purpose of online presence is enhanced recognition. So, regular online interactions and consistent branding across digital platforms help reinforce brand recognition. Whether good or bad, kasi nga 'di ba, sabi natin, good or bad publicity is still publicity. But as business owners, dapat ang goal natin is always good publicity. Mas maganda na makilala in a positive way than in a negative way. The best example nito is yung recent lang, yung nangyari sa Taragis Takoyaki. I don't know if you are aware with that. A brief context para dun sa mga hindi nakakaalam, takoyaki business po ito. Taragis Takoyaki yung pangalan ng kanilang brand. And then, nagkaroon sila ng promotion last April. April Fools na promotion na kung sino daw ang pinakaunang makakapag patattoo nung kanilang logo sa forehead is merong marireceive na reward. And then, after 30 minutes of posting that promotion, meron na agad nag-comment. And then, ayun, dahil syempre matatalino ang mga consumer na ngayon, masyado nang mapagmatsyag, napansin nila yun agad. And then, to make this story short, inamin din naman later on nung owner na lahat yun ay scripted. That lahat yun ay part ng kanilang marketing strategy. Ano yung positive na nangyari doon? Positive is, tayo bilang mga normal na mga consumer lang naman, hindi natin alam na meron palang ganung brand, na may Taragis brand pala ganun. Dahil nag-viral, so naging aware tayo dun sa brand nila. Pero ang negative kasi nun, nakilala ka or sumikat ka, naging famous ka in a negative way. So yung image pa rin nun sa business mo is hindi pa rin maganda. Nakilala nga yung brand mo, pero nakilala ka in a negative way. Kasi diba, parang ang dating, ayan yung brand na scripted. Parang ganun na yung dating nung dun sa brand nila. Dahil dun sa ginawa nilang strategy. Although, nakilala naman sila, pero yung image pa rin kasi na scripted. Parang yun na yung kakabit noong nakakabit doon sa brand nila. Okay. Next is, reach a wider reach. So, internet offers a global reach through online, your website, and social media. Mas maraming nare-reach. Sometimes global pa nga. And this could lead to an increased market reach and opportunities for growth. So, next will be the engagement. Online presence is not just mayroon kang website or social media accounts. Napaka-importante ng engagement. Kapag hindi nagkaroon ng two-way communication between you and audience or the consumer, wala rin. parang walang kwenta ang online presence kasi yung mga questions and inquiries walang sumasagot. So, sayang lang. And then next is the brand credibility. A well-maintained online presence an informative uh, including an informative and user-friendly website and active social media platforms can enhance brand credibility and trustworthiness. Laging kakambal ng credibility si trustworthiness. Kaya importante na hindi basta-basta ang online presence natin. Katulad ng grammar, ng mga ginagawa nating post. Minsan kahit Tagalog ng post, mali pa ang grammar. So, lalo na kapag ito ay sa page natin or sa website ng ating business, make sure that we posted na yung mga tama. Kasi, hindi natin alam kung sinong possible na ma-reach ng inyong post. So, as business owners or entrepreneur, responsibility natin to improve our communication and how we deliver our message. So, again, may personal experience ako about this kasi mahilig kasi kami mag-staycation. So, syempre, kapag mag-staycation ka, pag-inquire ka, and then, most of the time, makikipag-usap ka talaga dun sa owner ng unit or kaya kung sino mang staff. And then, ako, personal preference ko to ha, kapag ka yung nakakausap ko na, tapos, kapag sinashorten yung mga words, or minsan mali-mali yung spelling, minsan nakakaano siya, minsan nakakaduda, or nakakababa siya ng credibility doon sa business nila, hindi naman doon sa tao mismo. Parang, ayun lang, parang hindi masyadong professional kapag kagana na kasi hindi naman tao yung nire-represent niya dun eh. Ang gamit niya yung mismong page nung kanilang business, tapos makikita mo yung grammar na mali-maling spelling, shortened, may mga letter H, yung mga hindi naman dapat lagyan ng letter H, and then yung mga punctuations na paggamit, dapat be formal, kasi hindi natin alam yung background nung kausap natin kung ito ba ay I mean, kasi iba yung dating eh. Pagka ikaw ay sanay ng mga formal yung mga binabasa tapos auto-pass na ako dun. Hindi ko na siya sinasama sa option kapag ganun makipag-usap yung staff or yung owner. Ayun ay sarili ko lang naman. Akin lang naman yun. Hindi ko po alam sa inyo. Lalo na sa mga post. Kapag yung post alam mo na, hindi siya well presented or ayun, kahit man lang sana spelling, hindi naman tayo critic ng mga post, pero at least, yung mga ganun lang, parang nakakaangat kasi yun ng credibility na, na, ng credibility ng business kapag okay yung pagkaka-deliver mo ng message. And another is kapag syempre, sinearch mo, for example, itong staycation ay itong, na to, bawa resto na to, is or campsite, for example, kapag sinearch mo siya online, makita mo, ay, meron tong website, merong Facebook page. Di ba parang credible siya? Tapos makikita mo yung mga comments doon, ang gaganda ng reviews. Nagiging more credible siya. Tapos well presented, kita doon sa website nila or sa Facebook page nila na may mga pictures. So, mga ganun. We have here questions to answer before going online. So, number 1 is, what is market? Number 2, who is your target market? Number 3, how do you position your brand to your consumer? So, let's start with what is market. Here are the terms that we should remember. Number 1 is market. So, sa economics, kapag sinabing market, yun yung lugar kung saan nangyayari ang buying and selling or exchanging of goods and services. Ibig sabihin, sa economics, kapag sinabing market, tumutukoy yun sa lugar. And then, sa business term naman, ginagamit natin ang word na market pertaining to the consumer. Ibig sabihin, sa business term, ginagamit ang market pertaining sa tao. Sa economics, kapag sinabing market, lugar. Sa business term, kapag sinabing market, tao. Ay kung consumer pala ang ibig sabihin ng market sa business, ano ang tawag doon sa lugar kung saan nagbebenta ng product? So, in business term, ang tawag po natin sa lugar kung saan nangyayari yung bentahan ng mga products is marketplace. Take note po ha, wala yung space. Isang word lang yan, marketplace. So, kung yung marketplace po ay gagawin natin siyang online, ang tawag po natin doon is market space. So, how we identify our target market? I believe napag-aralan nyo na rin yung STP, which is the segmentation, targeting, and positioning. For example, hindi porket ang business mo is in line with food and beverages, lahat na lang nagugutom or lahat na lang kumakain is target market mo. Hindi porket ang business mo is travel and tours, lahat na lang gustong mag-travel is market mo. So, hindi po siya ganun, ano? So, paano nga ba natin makaklasify kung sino ang market natin? So, sino yung target market natin? We have here a formula from Sir Cortinas. We will be using it for us to identify our market. So, sabi po dito, market is equals to population plus purchasing power plus purchasing need. So, para daw po maituring mo yung tao na yon or yung group of people na yon as your market, dapat present itong tatlong to. Dapat siya ay part ng population, meron siyang purchasing power, may kakayahan siyang bumili ng product mo, and then purchasing need, kailangan niya talaga yung product mo. Willing siya bilhin kasi kailangan niya yung product na yon. So, if those three factors are present, possibly he or she is your target market. For example, meron akong seafood restaurant. And ang target market ko is mga taga Cavite. So, yun yung number one, population. So, ang population ko is within Cavite. Resident ng Cavite. And then, purchasing power. So, yung target market ko, mga taga Cavite, meron silang kakayahan na bumili or kumain ng mga seafood products. And then, number 3, dito ko medyo nagka-problema. Bakit? Kasi, some of the segments doon sa aking, some of the segments is merong mga matataas ang cholesterol, merong mga allergy sa seafood. So, possibly hindi sila part ng aking market. Dito ko nagka-problema. Sa purchasing need. Kasi, against sa health nila yung product na in-offer ko. So, mostly, medyo yung mga medyo may edad, hindi na sila part ng hindi na sila pasok doon sa targeting ko kasi nga mataas yung kanilang mga cholesterol, and then some of people na allergy sa seafood. So, possibly yung mga medyo may edad, hindi na siya part ng aking market. Pasok sa population, dapat yun, pasok siya, mga taga Cavite, go. Purchasing power, may kakayahang magbayad, and then purchasing need, gusto nila or kailangan nila. Willing sila magbayad to avail my product. So, I can consider them as my market. Ano ba yung business that is hindi mahirap i-identify kung ano yung market nila, kung sino yung market nila, ano yung business na gano'n? The best example for that if your business is water or purified drinking water, if that is your business, hindi siya mahirap i-identify. Bakit? So, sa population, hindi natin siya ganun kahirap i-identify kasi most of people, kahit buong bansa pa yan, buong Pilipinas, is kailangan ng tubig. We all drink. And then purchasing power, yes, nilalaanan natin to. And then purchasing need, meron yan, automatically purchasing power and purchasing need because water is part of our necessity. So, si water po ang business na hindi mahirap i-identify kung sino yung target market mo. Kasi lahat ng population is umiinom ng tubig, lahat is willing to pay, and lahat need ng water. So, almost lahat is your target market. Next question is paano ba natin pinoposition ang product natin sa isip ng consumer natin? Again, sa marketing meron po tayong STP, segmentation, targeting, and positioning para mas ma-determine natin kung sino yung market natin. Let's take sanitary napkin as an example. So, sa segmentation po, we need first to identify the segmentation variables. For example, your product is sanitary napkin. Automatically, ang pag-segment po natin dito is female and male. Automatically, cross out na si male doon. So, matitira si female. Lahat ba ng female is target market mo na? Siyempre, no. So, paano natin siya ulit isi-segment? So, again kapag sinabi po natin segmentation, it is the process of dividing your population. Hindi mo kasi pwedeng i-target lahat. Kailangan mas specific ka, So, mga babae yung tira. Lahat ba ng babae is target market mo? No. So, paano natin siya isi-segment ulit or paano natin siya i-divide para mas maging specific? So, isi-segment natin siya ulit by age or by generation. So, ibig sabihin yung group of female na yon, hahatiin natin siya by generation, Gen Z, Gen Y, Gen X, Boomers, and Silent. So, after natin ma-segment, dinivide natin, papasok na ngayon si targeting. So, after mo i-divide, pipili ka lang doon. Isasama mo pa ba si Silent at si Boomers? Or simula ka na lang Gen Z hanggang Gen Z, Gen Y, at Gen X. Kasi possibly sila yung meron na lang mga menstruation. And then next is positioning. Identify possible positioning concept for each target segmentation. So kasi kahit yung Gen Z at Gen Y, Gen X ay meron pang monthly period, iba-iba pa rin naman yung preference nila. So, dapat iba-iba pa rin yung atake mo per generation. So, eto na nga yung product natin na yung example natin. So, Tuesday sanitary napkin siya. So, paano ba natin siya sinegment? Paano natin siya dinivide? So, ito yung mga group of female, mga babae siya. Dinivide natin siya by generation. So, first is the Gen Z, the 7 to 22 years old. Next is the Gen Y, the 23 to 38 years old. Gen X, 39 to 54, Boomers, the 55 and 73 years old, and then the Silent, 74 to 79 years old. So, yun po yung process ng segmentation. Di ba mga babae kanina, sabi natin ang target natin is mga babae. Pero hindi kasi lahat ng babae is target market natin. So, sinegment natin or dinivide natin siya ulit. So, ayan. After ng segmentation, targeting na tayo. So, sa targeting, pipili lang tayo dun sa segment na yun. Ang segment po dito ay Gen Z, Gen Y, yan, yung grupo, yun yung segment. So, pipili lang sa targeting naman, pipili lang tayo kung alin yung ipupursue natin na market. So, automatically, tatanggalin na natin to. Tatanggalin na natin to si Silent, Tsaka ito si Boomer. Bakit? Bakit hindi na natin siya ipopursue? Kasi possible, wala na tong mga menstruation, monthly period. Itong mga group of age na to, or itong generation na to. Kaya hindi na natin siya isasama sa ating target market. So, sino yung ipopursue natin? Ang ipopursue natin si Gen Z, si Gen Y, at saka si Gen X. So, yun yung targeting. Pumili tayo ng mga segments na ipupursue natin. Ngayon naman is si positioning. Paano naman ginagawa si positioning? Si positioning naman, nangyayari siya kung paano na natin siya i-draw yung brand image or yung brand identity sa ating consumer. For example, paano ko ipopromote kay Gen Z itong product na to? So, possible, ang kukunin ko na influencer or ang kukunin ko na endorser is yung mga kaedad nila para mas makarelate sila. For example, mga batang artista or mga batang influencer. And then, ganun din sa Gen Y para mostly kasi dito sa Gen Y, ito na yung mga working group natin. Mostly pag ganitong edad, mga nagtatrabaho na to, mga blue collar and white collar. So, mga ganung level din yung kukunin nating advertiser, mga influencer. And then, dito naman sa Gen X or the 39 to 54 years old. So, ganun din, mga level ni Alice Dixon, mga ganun na yung kunin natin na influencer for that. So, ganun lang po siya, no? Kapag sinabi nating segmentation, dinivide mo yung population into segments, and then si targeting, pipili ka dun sa mga segments na yun kung sino yung ipopursue mo. And then si positioning, how would you create a picture in the mind of your consumer? So next, another example of STP. I don't know if some of you already knew about this, pero alam nyo ba na itong tatlong produkto na ito, si Tide, si Ariel, at si Bonux, ay gawa ng iisang kumpanya lang, which is the Procter & Gamble. Dati, akala ko, itong si Ariel at saka si Tide ay ang mortal competitors when it comes to detergent powder. Yun pala, galing sila sa iisang company lang. So, ang tanong, bakit kailangan pa gumawa ni Procter & Gamble ng tatlong detergent powder? Bakit hindi niya na lang pinag-isa? Or bakit hindi na lang isa yung ginawa niyang product? Bakit tatlo pa? So, the main reason is, iba-iba kasi yung target market nitong mga product na ito. Ang brand identity, for example, ni Ariel. Si Ariel is pricey, pero quality. Yung mapapasabi ka na, di ba kapag kami dati, kasi kapag may nakikita kaming naka-white, nakaklase namin, o kaya katrabaho, naka-white t-shirt siya, mapapasabi kami, tapos okay pa yung pagkakaputi ng damit, mapapasabi kami na, wow, labang mayaman, labang Ariel. Ganun yung image ni Ariel. Talagang, kapag sinabi mong Ariel, quality yan, kapag ginamit mo siyang panlaba. And then, mapapansin din natin sa mga endorser ni Ariel, ang endorser niya, Miss Chris Aquino, Regine, Lea Solonga. So, makikita natin na binabagay yung level ng mga endorser doon sa brand identity ni Ariel. So, ito naman si Tide, medyo mas mura siya, pero quality rin. Mas mura siya ng kaunti compared kay Ariel, pero okay din yung quality. So, ang target naman nila is yung gusto ng quality na sabon, pero mas mura compared to Ariel. While si Bonux naman is create siya para may panlaban kay Surf, which is pangmasa, mura. 'Di ba? Kasi si Surf kasi ay kahit sa mga sari-sari store, kung meron kayong sari-sari store or bumibili kayo ng tingi-tingin na sabon sa sari-sari store, mapapansin natin yung pricing nitong mga to. Si Ariel, yung mga naka-sachet lang ha. Si Ariel, kapag bumili ka nun, nagre-range siya ng 15 to 18 pesos ata, ganun. And then si Tide naman, 15 to 17, mga ganun yung presyohan niya. And then itong si Bonux is 8 pesos yung isang sachet niya na ganun. Ganun din yung si Surf. So, yun yung panlaban naman ni Procter & Gamble kay Surf. Ito si Bonux na mas affordable, mas mura, pangmasa. So, from here, makikita natin na despite of having similar products, kapag iba naman yung target market mo, you will succeed pa rin as long as you are properly communicating your message. After nating sagutin yung tatlong questions, which is what is market, who is your target market, and how do you position your brand in the mind of your consumer. So, it is clear na hindi dapat tayo basta-basta pumupunta sa online, or hindi dapat tayo basta-basta magdidesisyon, yung business ko, gagawan ko siya ng online presence. Kailangan tingnan muna natin kung tama ba yung branding na ginagawa natin. Halimbawa, ang business mo ay sari-sari store. Kailangan mo pa ba siya gawa ng website? Or kahit alternative na lang na Facebook page? Why is online presence important? Because you want to increase your visibility. That is first. Sa malakas na online presence, mas maaabot natin yung mas malawak na audience. With this, mas maraming opportunity to grow your brand or business. Next is building credibility. As consumers, bago tayo bumili ng isang product, tinitingnan muna natin yung website nila or Facebook page. Tapos, titingnan natin yung comments. Kalimitan, kapag may website or FB page, yung isang business is a plus factor as consumers, no? Kasi makikita natin na may credibility yung isang business. Kasi nakita na, may online presence, pwede silang ma-review ng kanilang consumer. When potential client research you online, a professional online presence signals trustworthiness and expertise. Kaya sabi natin kanina, dapat maayos ang website mo, maayos ang grammar mo, maayos yung content mo, because that will build your credibility online. Next is networking opportunities. After mo mapalakas yung online presence mo, what's next? Napaka-importante nito because we can use it for networking. Hindi ito yung networking na iniisip nyo ha. Networking through boosting online presence. Baka kasi dito makilala mo na yung next potential client mo na magpapabago ng business mo because mayroon kang maayos na website at gumagamit ka ng SEO. Next is building brand. Our brand kasi is our promise to our consumer. If we are consistent in telling our brand, mas tumatatak sa isip nila. Di ba nga ang example natin dito palagi ay si Coke at si Jollibee. Despite of their success, they are continuously advertising their brand and ensuring that they have an effective online presence. Ano ba yung mga key components or elements for strong online presence? Actually, dalawa lang po siya. First, para magkaroon ka ng magandang online presence is to create your own website. A professional website serves as the foundation of your online presence. It acts as a central hub to showcase your brand, products, and provide valuable information. The next one is by creating social media accounts or through social media. Leveraging social media platforms allows you to connect with the market directly. Choose platforms that aligns with your target audience and objectives. Pero hindi po porket may social media, lahat na ng social media ay gagamitin mo. Alamin muna dapat natin kung nasaan yung market natin, and then yun yung i-utilize natin kasi hindi po madali mag-manage ng social media accounts or social media profiles ng isang business. Ngayon, pag-usapan po natin yung building your online presence. First is creating a professional website. I'll make another video for website creation. So, hindi ko muna siya isasama dito sa topic natin. Bali, magsisend ako ng another video solely for website creation lang. Number one is user-friendly design. Importante po na user-friendly ang ating website. Dapat fit sa target market natin yung design. Kapag medyo maedad ang market natin, dapat light colors lang kasi allergic po sila sa mga bright colors. Dapat yung font style and size readable. Next is compelling content. Create a high quality and compelling content that engages visitors and provides value. Use a mix of informative articles, videos, images, and testimonials to showcase expertise. And number 3 is effective call to action. It includes clear and effective call to action buttons to encourage visitors to take desired action such as signing up. So, ito po yung, pag sabi po natin call to action, yung sa post natin, ini-encourage natin yung ating audience or consumer na makipag-communicate sa atin, na mag-inquire sila. Kaya, di ba minsan ang strategy ng iba, kapag nagpo-post sila, hindi nila nilalagay yung presyo. Kasi, yun yung strategy nila ng call to action para nga mag-message sa kanila yung consumer, para makita nila, talagang interesado kasi nag-message. That is call to action. Nag-message pa sila to ask the price. And then, meron din naman po sa Facebook yung mga post is sa baba, makikita mo na meron na dong button na message. So, automatically, kapag pindot mo yung button na message na yun, mapupunta ka na sa messenger. And then, meron na dong mga button na questions na pipindutin mo na lang. So, tuturuan ko rin po kayo kung paano yun gawin na automatically may magre-reply sa consumer ninyo kapag merong mga inquiries. And then, Again, I'll be sending a separate lecture about website creation po ano, but itong WordPress po is pwede natin gamitin para makagawa tayo ng website for free. We have here the advantages and disadvantages of free hosting. Siyempre, kapag free ang ginagamit natin, may features that cannot be accessed. Sa design, graphics, and pinaka-importante is yung security. Since free hosting siya, hindi ganun kalakas yung security na ma-enjoy natin. Next is leveraging social media. Ang pagkakaroon ng social media profiles or account is secondary lang talaga for boosting our website. Primary talaga na may website ka. So, number one here is platform selection. You need to align your social media platforms. Hindi kailangan mag-create ng account sa lahat ng social media platforms. Piliin lang natin kung nasaan yung target market natin para nga, again, hindi po tayo mahirapan mag-manage. Pwede rin naman, gawan mo lahat ng social media account, lahat ng platforms. But, magbigay ka ng mas maraming oras kung nasaan yung mas maraming consumer mo, yung target market. And then, number two is consistent branding. Maintain consistent branding across your social media profiles, including your profile picture, cover, image, bio, and tone of voice. This helps reinforce your brand identity and make it easily recognizable. Kailangan consistent ang branding, tuloy-tuloy ang pag-upload, dapat consistent din yung layouts, yung colors ng mga ginagamit sa infographics, dapat pare-parehas para meron kang identity. And then number three is engagement and interaction. So, actively engage with your audience and responding to comments, messages, and mentions. Encourage discussions, questions, and participate in relevant conversations to build a loyal community, loyal customers community. How are we going to manage bunch of inquiries? Sa mga susunod nating topics, ituturo ko po sa inyo kung paano yung automatically may nagre-reply sa mga inquiries. Tulad nga po na sinabi ko kanina sa Facebook, sa Instagram, at saka sa Twitter. Kung paano yung may automatically nagre-reply sa mga inquiries. And then, social media marketing involves increasing website traffic, engagement, brand awareness, and other marketing goals by creating various forms of content for different social media platforms. Like what I have said, secondary lang ang ating mga social media accounts para pumunta sila sa website natin. Yung website kasi, ang magiging store natin totally in online kasi andun na lahat ng products mo, and then andun na rin yung payment methods. Kapag gumamit ka kasi ng FB ads, for example, it is personalized. Kung mapapansin mo, yung mga ads na lumalabas in between doon sa videos na pinapanood mo ay related doon sa last na sinearch mo or pinag-usapan ninyo ng friends mo. Sabi nga, mas kilala pa raw tayo ng social media kaysa sa parents natin kasi alam niya ang gender preference mo, alam niya ang binivisit mo, ano yung mga produkto na binibili mo online, ano yung mga sekretong binabrowse mo, ano yung mga images na sinesend mo. So, napapag-aralan nila yon. Kasi meron tayong tinatawag na logarithm or social media logarithm na nandun na lahat if you do Facebook ads. So, makakarating yung ads mo sa tamang tao, sa tamang target. So, bakit mo kailangan gawin yung social media marketing? Content marketing through social media can be highly beneficial to you when done right. So, here are some of them. Number one, it improves brand awareness. Number two, higher conversion rate, improve search engine ranking, cost-effective, and then to funnel traffic. It means attracting your customers, getting their interest, making them desire your product. Ano nga ba yung search engine optimization? So, when we say search engine, ang example po nito is yung Google Chrome or yung Firefox. From the word itself, search engine, ito yung ginagamit natin kung saan tayo nagsisearch, or a program that searches for and identifies items in a database that corresponds to keyword or characters specified by the user used especially for finding particular sites on the World Wide Web. Kapag sinabi naman nating optimization, meaning to optimize or to configure a device or application so that it performs better. Ang goal ni search engine optimization ay maging number 1 ka sa listahan na kapag nag-search ka sa Google, yung business mo ang unang makikita. Kung gusto natin yung business natin ang unang lumabas doon sa pamimilian, usually kasi may unang 3 lumalabas doon. So, bayad po yung mga yon. At ang tawag po doon ay pay-per-click search engine marketing. Basta ang goal natin ay nasa first page tayo. Kung wala man tayo dun sa 3 kasi may bayad ngayon. So, organically, ang goal natin is nasa first page tayo. Yung mga nasa second, third, fourth kasi na page ay di na yun masyadong vini-visit. Ang madalas na pinupuntahan ay yung mga nasa unahan. So, paano natin magagawa na nasa unahan yung ating business? So, we need to optimize the search engine. Optimizing search engine and business. So, number 1 is keyword research. Dapat kilala mo ang market mo. Dapat alam mo kung paano mag-research ang iyong market. And you can use Google Trends para hanapin yung keyword na pwede mong gamitin. After mo malaman yung mga keywords na related sa business or sa market mo, ang next mong gagawin is on-page optimization, which is yung number 2. Ibig sabihin, kailangan mo magsulat ng mga blogs, mag-create ng mga videos or articles. And then, yung mga keywords na yun, dapat lalabas siya sa website mo para kapag nag-research yung iyong market, lalabas yung website mo and then mag-visit nila yun. And then, number 3 is quality backlinks. Ito yung ibang website or website na reputable na may kinalaman sa business mo tapos nakalagay doon yung link ng website mo. Kumbaga, pinag-usapan nila. Parang finiture ka. So, how would you do that? Siyempre, kailangan mo ng connections. You need to talk to other people like influencers na pwedeng makatulong to highlight your business. And obviously, may bayad yan. Kumbaga, na-shout out ka doon sa website nila or sa vlogs nila, sa blog, sa kanilang social media accounts. And then, last is regular content update. Kailangan relevant at dapat updated yung content ng ating website or social media accounts. So, kanina pa natin pinag-uusapan, how can we create an online presence? So, meron tayong dalawang way. First is website creation. Second is leveraging social media. Meron pa tayong ibang ways like influencer marketing. So, ito nga po yun. Usually, ginagawa na ito ng mga big companies wherein nag-hire sila ng mga influencers to regularly promote their brand. Mostly, may bayad itong pera, yung iba products, gifts, or accommodation, or X-deal. Pero, meron din namang hindi nagpapabayad kasi yun yung nature mismo ng content nila. Like, for example, Las Cuachero Caviteño. They are featuring tourist spots here in Cavite like hotels and restaurants. Ginagawa nila yung pag-promote ng free because yun talaga yung content nila. And reminder, be careful sa pagpili ng influencer kasi sila ang magiging mukha ng business natin. Dapat yung okay or maayos yung influencer na pipiliin natin. Kasi magre-reflect na doon sa influencer or sa artist na yun yung brand natin. Last but not the least, kailangan natin i-measure ang performance natin sa website at social media. Natatrack naman kasi yun, lalo sa WordPress or report through Google Analytics. Makikita mo doon yung visitor within the day, ilan ang nag-visit, taga saan, anong oras sila gising, anong oras sila nag-visit. Meron niyang mga insights. Bakit kailangan natin yun i-monitor? Kasi hindi natin malalaman kung successful tayo sa boosting or creating our online presence kung hindi natin naaralin yung performance natin. So, that's all for our chapter 6. If you have questions or clarifications, you can leave a private comment in our Google Classroom. So, keep safe everyone.